I'm sorry.
This is what we did this one last time.
Okay, recapping.
Is this in the notes?
No, it's a paper called the recap.
Oh.
Okay, finding side C. Do I have pairs, SAS, triple S? Always. That's your questions to yourself. Pairs, SAS, triple S. Pairs. A and A. To find side C, I would need the pair of angle C, which I don't have.
What if you double step it?
What if I double step it? So repeat sine law twice, you mean?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to do that pair, actually, and I'm going to use the B, because I have to use the 72. It's the only other thing I have. So 86 over sine 84 equals 72 over sine angle B. Times divide sine inverse. Make sure you're in degree mode. I'll try to remind you on your test date. Times divide second sine. Angles go to 1 decimal place.
Angle 1 decimal.
Angle 1.
Angle 1, side 2.
56.4 matchups. Okay, now I know the two angles. That means I could figure out the third one on my own. Okay, so a 180 minus and gets you the other angle, the missing one. So you have to repeat again. You got to do sine law twice. Okay, remember this question? I said there's a 100% chance it'll be on the test. So I'm going to go with the 86 over sine 84 degrees again. This time I'm going to pair it with the C partnership. Times divide. No inverse. It's not an angle. No inverse.
Oh, those are smack good. Really?
Good, 55.12. Question 2. So on the section on the test where I'm just giving you random triangles, you have no idea if it's cosine, sine, go through the process. Pairs, SAS, triple S. SAS, which means
Yeah.
cosine law. I'm just going to use an X here, if that's okay with you. I'm just going to call side C X for now. So X squared equals 6 squared plus 8 squared, or you can flip-flop that around. That doesn't matter if you had the 8 squared before the 6 squared. So I want you to make sure on your test you're paying attention to typing cos or sine. Make sure you're pushing your finger on the cos button. I get that as a mistake sometimes. People do all this, but accidentally push sine. Actually, I get it more on the inversing, but
My thing's in red. Okay.
don't forget to square root your answer because you might think that last answer is way too big, which it is.
So in that one, you don't need to be that careful about brackets.
No brackets needed at all. Just type, 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 square root answer. Okay. Find angle Q. Okay, I told you to find this. What if I tell you this on a test? Find the largest angle. What would you find if I said find the largest angle? Which letter would you go with? R. Okay. This time I specifically asked you to find angle Q, but what if on a test I didn't ask for a specific one? If I said find the smallest, find the middle, find the largest. Okay, so Q, this is, did you go through pairs, SAS, triple S? Triple S.
Triple S.
So this is cos of angle Q equals the fraction. Do you remember my trick? Where do I always start writing?
At the end.
Minus. I always go here first. Which one should I put in that subtraction end spot? 6.3 squared. Okay, then fill in the rest. Okay, calculator. Here's where I always get the wrong button. Somehow there's going to be someone who's accidentally going to push sine inverse instead of cos inverse. Don't let it be you.
I call it not me.
Okay, so this was me thinking about mixed section on your test. You also will have on your test a mixed question that looks like this. Do you remember that diagram? So you're going to for sure have a diagram that would look like that, and for sure a diagram that looks like that. So don't forget about those important questions. You get those ones. What if I asked you to explain to a grade 10 student how to process what to do? What does your back page look like? What's on your back page? Nothing? You have a whole blank back page? Okay, I'm going to get you to tell a grade 10 student what to do. How do you determine what trig strategy to use? What's the first thing you look for? If I would have this in a triangle, then I would do this. If I had this in a triangle, I would do this. There's 3 components. What's one of them? If you had pairs, so if you had that, then what would you do? Sine law? Okay. You get 1 point. That's 1 point of explanation. What's the second thing you could tell a grade 10 student? If you had something, you should use this. SAS.
You only get to pick 3?
You have 3 things.
Only 3 things.
There's 3 things. If you have SAS
I've got a lot of
or
Triple S.
triple S,
Only 2 for 2 boys.
then what do you do? Cosine law?
Oh, I thought those were 2 different ones.
Nope, that's 1. So now you have 2 points out of the 3. And what's
180 minus? Or no?
that?
They could figure that out themselves.
What? Somebody said it. SOHCAHTOA. If you have what?
A right triangle. Right.
But I thought we said,
If you have that, then you can do. Somebody said SOHCAHTOA.
So smart guy.
Now you have 2.5 points out of 3.
Oh, that was only half.
That was a half point.
Nice half point.
There's 1 trig strategy you've learned that you're missing here.
Oh,
I
this
heard.
one. This thing. Oh.
Somebody said it back there. Now you have completed 3 points. Is that every single trig strategy you've ever learned now? Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you have a right triangle, you learned last year there was 2 things. Pairs, sine law. Those 2 situations is cosine law.
This is gonna be on the test.
Yep. I want you to hit every single point you've ever learned, which is all those now. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, back to question 4. Okay, I gave you angle A, which means side A is opposite
Side eye.
and side B is adjacent then.
Side
Remember Cole's law?
Oh, that one.
Okay, here's the rules. If the longer, or if the opposite side is longer, there's 1 triangle. That's it. Is there any situation that does that? The last one. Boom. 1 triangle. On your test, why? You have to say something.
Because the opposite's longer than the adjacent.
Opposite is longer. Boom. Done. That's 1 point. Now, the other rule is if the opposite side is shorter, they're both shorter, then I have to test. I have to test because the opposite side is shorter. So 5 over sine 28 equals 13 over sine B. Angle B is either a number or a error. Times divide inverse. Don't forget to inverse yet. Did it come out to be an angle or an error? Error? So now, no triangles. I have to give some kind of reasoning. Shorter, tested, error. This one is shorter, so I have to test. So 12 over sine 31. Number or an error?
36.9.
36.9. That means
Two.
2 triangles. Okay, so that exact question is on your test. How many triangles? Why?
That exact one.
Well, not the same numbers, but
Same idea.
the same idea. Okay, now solve the entire ambiguous from the above question. So that was the 2 triangle. We had a 14, a 12, and a 31. Okay, so I'm going to copy the 14, 12, and 31 down. Okay, this is my unknown side at the bottom. This is angle A, which is 31 degrees. Okay, now pretend that I'm drawing a ruler for a length of 14. Okay. From my finger to the pen, this is 14. So I'm going to make a length that's 12. That's good? Something like that? 12 is less? If I moved 12, where could it touch? Right there? Or over there? Could have hit in that spot or that spot. So one option was 14, 12, and the third side. So I'm going to call the third side C1. And then where's my other triangle?
Big one.
14, 12, and the third side of it. Do you notice how I drew my triangle with a 14, a 12, and a third side that we'll figure out? Do you notice how there is a triangle that's 12, 12, but I don't want that one? Okay, so we start with our pair. 12 over sine 31 equals 14 over sine B. When you do that, you should have a this or that statement, because there's 2 options across 14. Across from 14, across from 14. You could be across from 14. Okay, times divide inverse. Okay, we have these 2 numbers. I have to figure out where should they go. Across from 14 here or across from 14 there. One of them is less than 90 and one would be bigger than 90. So you have to put them in the correct spot. Okay, this one is obtuse. This one is acute. Okay, ready? We're going to get the top angle. So I need a yellow third angle. And I will need a pink top angle. You see them separated? So this one would be 180 minus 31 and the 143. .9 at the top of that one. And can you get me the top pink one?
How did you get that one?
So the top pink one came from
Oh, yeah, I see.
these other corners with the 180 minus those two corners. You see the big triangle? Okay, so the last step is to finish your sine setup again. So 12 over sine 31 and C1 is across from 5.9 degrees. Okay, and that one's bigger. It's across from 112.1. Okay, so this question is worth 7 points.
Will there just be one of those questions?
Yep. Your whole ambiguous section is worth 10 points. So you have this question worth 3 points, and the ambiguous whole thing is worth 7 points. And when you do this, I say you have to draw me a picture. Somebody who draws me this is going to get points deducted. Why? That and that, there's no way those could add up to 180, right?
Yeah.
This is acute and this is acute. There's two acutes won't make 180. Okay? So that person will get points deducted. Okay? Okay, to estimate the height of a building. So we have a building on the ground. Two students find the angle of elevations from a point on the ground, street level. So basically there's a student somewhere and a student somewhere else. Their elevation to the top of the building. We can assume the building is at a 90-degree angle. So one student looks up and it's a 35-degree tilt, and the other student looks up and it's a 51-degree tilt. Which one would be 51? The one that's the farthest away, or the closer one? Closer person. Remember, when you walk to something, your head will tilt higher, right? Making an angle bigger. Does that make sense physically? When you're on the ground somewhere, if you're close, you're going to be tilted higher. So make sure you understand that concept and that they go in the right spot. And the one person is 150 feet closer than the other person. Okay. Okay, let's attack the angles before we start anything else. Just angles, angles, angles. Which one?
Opposite of 51 degrees.
Right beside the 51, you can get that number. Okay? They would have to be 180 together to make a whole straight line, right? Now, I'm going to do the top skinny triangle one. And now I've created something for my strategy bank, which is a pair. So you have two choices here. You could go 129 with that, or you could do 35 with that. Do you understand I can't do 35 and X partnership right now? It's not going to work for you. You can't pair this in the right-sided triangle and this in the entire triangle. This drawing has 3 triangles in it. You got to see them all. Okay, I'm going to pair 35 with this, which I'm going to give another letter. I'm going to put a Y on it. Okay? It is possible to go that way. That's fine too, as long as you're making sure all your matchups are in order. $312.14.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm actually going to forget that triangle. I'm done with that triangle. And I'm going to just work in this triangle. Okay, you can do that. You can also do SOHCAHTOA stuff because that one is a right triangle, but sine law is probably just easier at that point. Why can I do SOHCAHTOA? Because the sine of 90 is actually just 1. That's why it works. Okay, so you can probably expect something like that on a word problem on the test. Yep. All right, let's finish those last two. Okay, number 7. 2 airplanes are leaving the airport.
Don't tell me that's actually true.
So there's an airport and one airplane goes that way. One airplane. I don't know why they look like fish, but okay.
Is that supposed to be a plane?
Looks like a nuke.
I thought it was like a candy.
Looks like a fish. We'll just say that that's why I'm a math teacher. Okay, they both left the airport. 1 hour later, they are 189 kilometers apart from each other. One traveled 168. The other was it traveled 244. Find the angle between their flight paths. Okay, I feel like on a test I could also switch this up by giving you their velocities. So if somebody is going a velocity of 50 kilometers an hour, after 2 hours they are 100. After 3 hours they are 150 or whatever. Okay, how do I figure this out? I have a triple S. So this would be a cosine of the angle question. Fraction, which one do I pick first in the end subtraction position?
189.
The 189. Again, on a test, sometimes when your brain isn't thinking at the end of a test, make sure you're still cos-inversing this. I know that your sign is like where your finger always wants to go for some reason, so.
I do like sign better.
Agreed. You need to bracket the first part.
You need to say the whole top in brackets divided by the whole bottom.
Or do you do, yeah,
So this is like how my bottom looks when I type it, by the way. I just do bracket 2 times 244 times 168 on the bottom equals second cos answer, 50.6 degrees. Anybody match that number?
So I did sign by accident.
See, your fingers just want to go to sign.
Wait, 72 point.
I got 51.49.
No, anybody matching? Did I do it wrong? You
Oh,
match?
50.6, yeah.
50.6.
50.9, is that close enough?
I got some.
It should be exactly the same as this.
Mine's always slightly off.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah, because when I cosine inverse, I just do the first 2 digits.
No.
That's wrong?
Yes. Where's your answer button?
I don't have that.
Yes, you do.
Come on now.
Okay, last question. A triangle lot, so like where you want to build a house, sits on the corner of 2 streets.
Come on, man.
So I have 2 streets and then they intersect at a 58-degree angle. And then this is the lot for my house. Do you guys want me to also draw a house?
Made the best houses.
Okay.
Wow, that is a nice house.
I know, better than my airplanes, that's for
Wish I
sure.
lived there.
One street side is 32 meters. And then the other street side is 40 meters. How long is the back side of this lot?
It's all about perspective.
Can I just try a squared plus b squared?
No. Do you see a right
I say
angle?
yes,
Like, could I try to see what happens?
Why don't you actually ball
Yeah, you can get the wrong answer if you want for 0 points.
Will it be close?
No.
Oh.
Okay, x squared equals 32 squared plus 40 squared minus 2, 32, 40. Which function? Cos 58. Blah, 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 type,
No
square
bracket.
root, and use your answer button there. So what have you been doing on this one?
35.
Griffin? What
Alice
have,
hasn't got a question right this whole unit.
have you not been doing the answer button on this one? Then
No.
what do you?
I never do that, but I just do the first 2 digits.
No,
No, good.
that's so much
A
rounding.
squared plus b squared.
I always just call it close enough.
Well, now you're gonna get it exact.
Guys, I gave you the right answer. I got 51. Not that close.
It's not that close.
But it's like kind of close, so I think I'm just gonna use it.
You got it.
Griffin got